Welcome back to Follow the Compass North. Today I'll be tying the bowline, and then we'll be following up with a second episode, be published at a later date, with the trucker's hitch, which is using the bowline as a fixed loop at the end of a line in order to create a ratcheting system that applies a lot of attention without any external mechanics. So we'll start off with the basics. The bowline is a fixed loop. In previous episodes, you've seen me make slip loops, which will slip out when pulled. A fixed loop is the opposite. It's a loop that will not slip out. Fixed loops are very easy. The easiest one is the overhand knot. You just take a bite in your line like this, long enough for you to tie a simple overhand in. The overhand knot is a solid fixed loop. Works very well. You can do a lot of things with this fixed loop. You can make a lot of nice anchor points with it. However, it's harder on this bigger diameter line, and also when you cinch this down really hard, it tends to be very difficult to untie. I've had fixed loops from overhand knots stuck in the end of paracord forever. I've had to cut a couple of them out, in fact. The bowline, however, allows us to create a fixed loop at the end of the line that is a little easier to strike. I'm going to create a slip loop here. If you're not aware of how to do that, I've created another episode earlier called Slip Loop and Canadian Jam that'll show you how to make a quick slip loop in line. So we have our quick slip loop in line. We're going to take the end that doesn't pull through. This is the end that pulls through. Take the end that doesn't pull through, run it through the slip loop, pinch it back onto itself. This creates a chain link look. You should have two loops here, and then you pull that line that does close the slip loop. Once you close it here, there's going to be some resistance, but you need to make sure that you pull all the way through until this snaps into position, because this is called the snap bowline. Alright, now this can go either way. You can have this line, this running end here, end up on the outside, or it can switch while you're tying and end up on the inside. Real knot specific people out there, I'm trying to reduce using the term knot snobs, will say that a bowline, you have to have the line coming to the inside, whereas if it switches around or if it's on the outside, it really doesn't do anything to deteriorate the knot. Whether this is coming out here in the middle of the loop or coming out the other side, for example, if I were to rerun this, to what is sometimes considered a false bowline, it doesn't matter to me. See how this is on the outside versus the inside, which would make the actual bowline knot. Both work just as well. You end up with a loop at the end of a line, and you can use this in all matter of applications. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to make that again with paracord. We'll set this up here. See if I can put it right over this post. You can see what we're looking for. And I'm going to take a little bit of my bird's nest here and pull it out. Use it for a simple knot tying line. I'm going to need a little bit of line, so I'm going to pull from here. It's going to unravel naturally. If you're curious on how this is made, look at the line storage episode where I actually made this in the time lapse and explained the whole thing. It's a series of fixed loops around a centralized loop. Once I have enough line here, I'm going to cut it. My super sharp knife from the knife sharpening episode. Doing a lot of self-promoting today. And then I'm going to burn my line ends from the line stowage and maintenance episode. So you can see now when we get enough of this content together, we can focus on individual skill sets and not have to reteach the basics over and over again. That's the whole intent of this format for this channel. Alright, now I've got these posts here set up so I can easily tie. I can work on some knots here that would be in line and whatnot. So I'm just looping it around there for now. What I'm going to do to create this knot is I'm going to create my slip loop. I'm pulling from the body of the line so that I can put the running end through the slip loop, make my chain link, and just pull and snap that bowline into place. Bowline, bowline, it's just a matter of dialect. You'll hear me say both. I'm from the north and I teach in the south. So here we have a really nice solid bowline. It's a proper one with the line coming to the inside. When I tie this, it happens both ways. You strike this by pulling back on the main line through. That loosens that pre-existing slip knot, and then it comes right apart nice and easy. So again, you can do the overhand where you just put a bite and tie a knot. It's called an overhand knot, and you have a fixed loop, which is useful and will work for the trucker's hitch in the next episode, sure. But it's a little harder on your lines, it's a little harder on your material, and a little more difficult to strike. So we'll do that bowline again. I'm going to do the slip loop from the Canadian Jam episode. Chain link, pull tight until it snaps into place, and that's going to happen really quickly. There we go. I like to leave at least an inch and a half of tail here so that it doesn't get pulled through, and I've got a real nice and solid fixed loop. You can do a fixed loop on the end of a line. You can do an inline fixed loop where it's way back in here. There's some other knot mechanics that we could use for that, but for today I just wanted it here so that I can tie it into a trucker's hitch. Now this portion I'm not going to explain because it's going to be in the next episode. We'll be posting a few days after this one. If you're anxious, just put a comment down in the comment section and I'll answer your question. So feel free to ask questions. Feel free to hit like, dislike. Either way, it helps the channel. If you have any questions below, or if you're interested in this content, feel free to check out any of our other videos. We appreciate you stopping by here today. Thank you and have a great day.